Look at this story. Carlos, Felipe's father, approaches Natalia and asks her, "Natalia? Have you already made my son's lunchbox?" Natalia replies, "Yes, sir, it's there." Carlos takes the lunchbox and opens it to see what's inside. In which city are you watching this story right now? Carlos speaks, "Natalia? More, why didn't you put a mixture for my son here?" Natalia, "But I put the egg." Carlos says, "Since when is egg a mixture?" Natalia, "That's what I had." Carlos says, "But where is the meat I bought you to cook for my son?" Natalia says, "Who didn't see the meat?" Carlos says, "Like you didn't see the clothes on the floor of your room, right?" Natalia says, "Those clothes are dirty clothes." Carlos says, "If they are dirty clothes, you should put them in a basket and not on the floor." Natalia, "I'm going to do that, leave it alone." Carlos, "In my time, wives were more responsible and capricious." Natalia says, "Yes, sir, but nowadays we help each other, we even have to talk to share the tasks here at home." Carlos says, "You live here at my house for free, you're the one who has to do things here, be thankful that I'm not charging you anything for it." Carlos doesn't realize that Felipe is there listening to everything. Carlos delivers the lunchbox to Natalia and leaves. After her father-in-law leaves, Natalia stays there again, arranging her husband's lunchbox. Carlos believed that because Natalia is there with her son, living in their house and not paying any bills, and because she is a woman, she is obliged to do all the work from home. Natalia, to avoid conflicts with her father-in-law, does all the housework without complaining. She spends the day cleaning the house, washing the clothes, and doing the work. When she finishes, she sits on the couch to rest. Felipe arrives from work and says, "Hi love, how are you?" When he goes to kiss Natalia, she turns her face away and says, "What was it, love, what happened?" Natalia says, "I'm not cool." Felipe says, "But what happened for you to be like this?" Natalia says, "I'm tired, and your father is treating me as if I were his maid. I have to do everything myself and even wash his clothes, and look at the size of this house, not to mention that you don't help to keep it clean." Felipe says, "Look honey, I know things are complicated, but you need to understand this is his way. I like a clean house and everything organized in its place." Natalia says, "He likes everything clean in the place, he should help keep it clean because look at the size of this house. It's not fair that I have to keep the house clean and organized and you don't help me." At that moment, Carlos arrives very angry and says, "What are you discussing there with my son Natalia?" Felipe, Laura's sister, who was there with her father, tells her father, "Dad, this is a couple thing, you don't have to interfere, let him sort it out." Carlos says, "I'm not even his father, I don't raise my voice with him, why does she have to raise it?" Laura says, "They are a couple and they are two adults, they have to solve their problems by themselves and you don't have to interfere in their conversation, take your father and get him out of there." Natalia says, "Did you see that? I'm already tired." She gets up and leaves. The next day, Natalia is sitting there on the couch when her husband Felipe arrives and says, "Hi love, how are you?" Natalia says, "I was here thinking and honestly, Felipe, it doesn't work anymore, it's not working." Felipe says, "But why this now, love?" Natalia says, "It's not working anymore, I don't want to live here at your father's house anymore. I think we have to have our freedom, Felipe, we have to have our own house. This situation is getting very boring, I don't want to have to anymore putting up with this kind of thing here inside your father's house. So I'm going to get my things and leave here. If you want to stay, it's your choice." Natalia keeps talking, that she's already made that decision and there's nothing to make her go back because she's tired of being so humiliated by Carlos, and Felipe doesn't realize that. She's going to get up and Felipe takes her by the arm and says, "Calm down, Natalia. Do you remember what we promised each other when we got married?" Remembering the day they got married. They are there making oaths of love. Natalia says, "Today is the big day, love. We are going to get married. We are going to be very happy and build a family together." Felipe says, "Yes, love, I promise you loyalty, and I will be a very good companion. But love, for now, we'll have to stay at my father's house until we get a place to live, just you and I. We have to make that sacrifice today so that later we can have what's ours." Natalia says, "Oh love, I know, I understand you, but I don't think it's going to be a good idea to stay at your father's house." Felipe speaks, "But love will be a good help until we manage to buy our house or even rent our corner, because my father said we can stay there and we won't have to pay anything." Natalia says, "It's good, love, but it will only be for a while." Going back to today. Felipe says, "So love, the big day has come. We were only here for a while until I managed to have some money to have what is ours, our things, our house. Leave everything that happened here in the past and let's start over from today." Felipe says, "Let's pack our things. It's time to say goodbye." Felipe says goodbye to his sister Laura and his father, Natalia too. They go. What did you think of this story? What would you do?